everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. It's turn 20, and a bunch of interesting stuff happened this turn. So let's see how it plays out. We're running up enchantment now. We hit enchantment 1 and enchantment 2. We did an empowerment in nature, so we can very greedily start doing harvest specs. This does have dividends later on in the game, obviously. We do intend on going conjuration or construction, which will get us access to, a thistle mace, which will get us nature 3, and then we have, other options that we can take from there. We do have access to earth and astral, so by taking, a nature 1 and giving them a thistle mace, we can put a meteoric iron thing onto one of them and then get them into a communion very easily, so we have nature access and a communion very easily. So we've got a lot of different options for things that we can do in regards to that type of situation. So this is an investment in the future, but it's an expensive investment in the future. Fingers crossed on that actually panning out. The Grail Providus has claimed the Throne of Air for Bretonnia. That's a little annoying. Bretonnia having Air Shield in their Bless does not sound good to me. We did an Arcane Probing, found nothing. At the end of the Rainbow, found a Mist-Shrouded Ruin. So we've got one more Glamour, nothing with Dark Knowledge, nothing with Augury, and that was it. Not find anything with Occultist. We got a bunch of little battles to watch, and one of them is ours. Let's watch the Middenheim versus Bono Tribe first. So little raiding unit. We've seen this a couple of times. This is the one that has the Knights of the Winter Throne. Up against a fair amount of Bono's tribe, but I don't know if there's anything here that actually deals with these Winter Knights. Oh, but the Winter Knights are all... Well, they were all separated. They're not all separated anymore. Yeah... Yep, that doesn't look like Bono's tribe is going to stick around for that. Fair enough. So, Middenheim does win. They lose 25 units. Mostly random stuff, although they did lose a couple of those Knights of the Winter Throne. Some White Wolf Knights got knocked off their horses. This does kind of vastly diminish the staying power of this particular group. So that is not the worst exchange, although Karaz-a-Karak is now dead. Yikes. So, that's an interesting kind of play. Kind of starting to seem as if Bone Nose is on the way out. Middenheim is slowly through attrition, winning more of these fights than not. But I think it's playing out very well for us because Middenheim is still continuing to lose a fair amount of units, and at the same time, Bono's tribe is raiding, preventing Middenheim from constantly keeping access to, all of his resources and income, etc., etc. So I think this is working out fairly well for us, but we have been attacked by Athel Loren, who we have a nap with. It's a misclick. It's just fucking misclick. They accidentally clicked, sent a Glade Captain at us. No big deal. We'll watch his noble fight as he starts to shoot at RPD and immediately is like, nope. So yeah, not a big deal. Was not a nap break. We are not being come at. It's all fine. Get to watch Khorne versus Itza, and it's... did he do the same thing? Is this just the turn of accidental pings? Maybe not. Who knows? So, Khorne also attacked. Itza wasn't a thing. And then Middenheim against Bone Nose again. We got a little bit of a scarce line for archers and some state halberdiers and spearmen. Very simple group, designed to deal with, I think, minimal PD fairly well. Looks like there is minimal PD here, along with a few actual troops. So, yeah, 13 actual troops, 10 PD, it looks like. So, did pretty well. Lost one state spearman. Seems exactly like how you want that to play out. Good job on that one. And then Bonos attacks Middenheim in Grey Mountains. We've got some Orc Boys. We've got some Gobbos. We've got some... I love these guys. I love the River Trolls. They look so fucking cool. Look at these bastards. Ugh. Love them. Love them, love them. So, we also got a... How many fucking Adepts of Pyrophlegeton are in this fucking game? Because Khorne has them out of the Throne of Fire. I have them. Does Bonos also have a fucking Citadel of whatever the fuck it is? What the hell? Maybe they just got one out of a lucky event. Alright, we've got some stuff. Oh, don't burn your own trolls. We don't want that. Alright. Looks like Bonos did well. Lost a goblin nasty skulker, lost some orc boys, killed some free infantry, etc., etc. So, nothing massive here this turn between Middenheim and Bonos. Like I said, Middenheim does seem to have the advantage in slowly winning out, but they're taking heavy attrition, and Bonos is inconveniencing them the whole way, which greatly benefits us. We've got 10 more secrets to unlock before we get our first gate. Unexpected event in Anvast. A treasure has been found. Bunch of gold, some fire gems, air gems, water gems, earth gems, and a blade of grass, which is pretty neat. And a second gold event, 750 gold, some fire gem, or a fire gem, and earth gem, and a fairy in a bottle. Let's take a look at the items that we've got so far from events. We got a blue dragon scale armor, or blue dragon scale mail, which is fine. It's interesting. Not great, not horrendous. Pretty useful as a morale item, but that's not something that we're super worried about. Got a mirror armor, which is magic resist item, but it's very low protection, so you know, not unuseful, but kind of whatever. And then we got a blade of grass. So this thing is kind of interesting. Not super high damage, but it is armor piercing, not armor negating, armor piercing, which is fine, and it draws blood. So you can actually put this on something like a super tanky Titan and hope to actually get through their armor if they're like in the 30s or something like that, because it's armor piercing, and it will inflict draw blood, which is very, 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 very nice, and something we might end up having to employ if we go up against Middenheim, because we don't really know what their god is at this particular moment. So something to consider. And then we got a fairy in a bottle, which is temp air gems and temp nature gems with a morale penalty, but that's pretty cool. So, pretty excited about that. We got a bunch of extra money this turn. What are we doing with it? Because that's really what's going on. Bunch of movement around the map as we try to uncover the last bit of Fog of War. And then we've got, of course, a whole bunch of scouts in the Middenheim Bonos tribe territories so that we can try to see what's going on there. Let's take this top to bottom. So we are still building a fortress in Balcoria, or upgrading the fortress in Balcoria. We're building a lab this turn. We're not recruiting anything here because this is pretty far away from where we want to be, and we don't have any researchers that we can recruit. We're moving around some creatures. We are doing more archers in Ard. We've got a small collection going there. In our cap, we are getting an exalted hero. So this is probably something I should talk about. A lot of people are probably going to... I hope I addressed this well enough in my national overview or pretender design video, but a lot of people, when they're playing with playing with the Chaos factions are going to go aspiring champions, and they're going to pump these out like fucking crazy. They're relatively cheap, and they are leaders, and their promotion is not crazy difficult to get. When they promote, they will promote into these guys, into Exalted Heroes. And it's very worthwhile to do this. But it also is what's the word I'm looking for here? Depending on what you are doing, right? It is going to be more expensive than grabbing something like a Marauder Chieftain or a Marauder Horsemaster if you just need a leader. They have less leadership to move things around, though obviously the Exalted Hero is quite good at that. And they're not priests, and they're not researchers, right? So it's a decision you have to make every single time if you're pumping out aspiring champions. Now, if you are pumping out aspiring champions, you can get pretty lucky in the mid-game and jump from a scenario where you have a couple of inspiring champions to Exalted Heroes, to Chaos Lords, to Demons of Chaos, right? So that's the dream. But what we're trying to do with the whole Eternal Pyre situation is skip all that nonsense and just immediately go to Demons of Chaos, right? Is immediately just be like, okay, well, rather than have 20 aspiring champions that we're going to make it there, we're just gonna get to Eternal Pyre and go summon Demon Lord, summon Demon Lord, summon Demon Lord repeatedly, right? So that's the plan, and so far the plan is going well. However, in between now and then, we are probably going to snag an Exalted Hero every once in a while because they have significantly better leadership than what we're dealing with the Marauder Chieftain and Marauder Horsemaster, and we are probably going to be marching to war soon, and so I want a decent leader to carry the main bulk of our forces. So that's what this Exalted Hero is for. Continuing with Chosen Warriors and Marauder Horse Archers, a couple of Chaos Warhounds just to spend the gold that we have. People are going to ask, why not Chosen Knights? Chosen Knights are amazing. Absolutely amazing. They are phenomenally good. But I don't think we need them against Middenheim. And they are expensive. Oh god, they're 120 fucking gold versus 65 gold, right? So they are very expensive, especially if we're trying to like fill out our holy points, right? Insanity to try to do this. We just don't have the income yet. If we are successful against Middenheim and we have a decent sized territory and we're allowed to scale up a little bit, we have his cap, that kind of scenario, that's gonna change drastically, and we're gonna start not shitting out, but we're probably every turn gonna try to maximize our Chosen Knight production, because these guys will scale well into the mid game and into the late game. They're fantastic regardless. So we are happy to get them. They're just too expensive for right now. We need more bulk than we do elite quality, which is kind of, I guess we're kind of still shooting ourselves in the foot with the 65 gold Chosen Warriors. But these guys are a really good in-between, right? Rather than getting a bunch of Chaos Warriors, these guys are a nice in-between scenario that can deal with True Sight, right? Can deal with some of the potential options that Middenheim might come at us with. There is obviously the concern of not having magic weapons, but what we've seen from Middenheim, I'm not expecting a shit ton of body ethereal, right? So, we'll see. Anyways, elsewhere, we are starting to get acolytes in Sirmiok. Also building a fortress in Sirmiok. Getting a few Chaos Knights. Yes, I know I just talked about how freaking expensive the damn Chosen are, but Chaos Knights do promote into Chosen, and we want some small squads of Chaos Knights. So think 5 to 8 Chaos Knights. in order to do our own buffs and counters to Middenheim's knights, right? The hope is we won't have to deal with that many knights because he keeps losing a few here or there against Bone Nose. But in case we do, we will want some of our own Chaos Knights to try to deal with them. And even if we don't, these guys are going to, especially with buffs, they're going to wreck the side of any sort of Middenheim formation. So that's the plan there. We are recruiting elsewhere, various marauders in different places. Got a palisade still going up in Namor. We are patrolling over here in Umpholia because we have had sectarian movements. We're also recruiting a few things there, again, just to kind of pad things out. We are getting an Adeptive Puriphlegaton in Traveler's Rest. Why? These guys are semi-expensive. I say semi-expensive. They're less expensive than a sorcerer is, but they are slow to recruit, right? So this was basically a choice on money and ease of use, because with our sorcerers, with some of our acolytes, we can make a little fire communion that can absolutely put up flaming arrows. But this guy can just do that out of the fucking can. And I want to have at least one very easy trigger to do that. So over here, we're going to have an Adeptive Puriphlegaton. Over here, we'll probably have a small communion that is responsible for that, especially since we do have our Fire 2 Mage. And he's almost done with auguries. He's almost auguried everything that we can augury, right? So because of that, he will probably be the Flaming Arrows caster on this side, whereas this Adeptive Puriphlegaton, since we have less mages, is probably going to be the Flaming Arrows caster. More Marauder Horse Archers, some more Chaos Warhounds, some Chaos Warriors, just padding things out. More Wolf Tribe Archers. Basically just trying to make sure that we have a bunch of frontline and then a bunch of archers across the board on either side. Fair amount of Chaos Warhounds and things like that mixed in just for bulk, for siege strength, and also for patrollers later on, because they're very good at that. So, not a lot of crazy shit happening, but we've got I feel like we've got a good concept of what we're going for. So let's take one more look at what we are actually trying to accomplish here. We are going up to Enchantment 5 for Flaming Arrows. Obviously, we're going up to Enchantment 6 for Eternal Pyre. The goal is to, as soon as our god comes out, make sure we can instant cast Eternal Pyre, and then the next turn just start shitting out these guys, Demon Princes. So, I think we're doing pretty well for that kind of goal. So now the concept is what along that path affords us the opportunity to win a war. And the answer that I have to that question is Flaming Arrows. So we're going to have Enchantment 3 next turn. We are starting, right? We can get mages over in Traveler's Rest. We can get mages slowly in Sirmiok. We will be able to start getting mages slowly in Balcoria next turn. Pretty quickly, this is going to scale up from 200 per turn to a lot more. So, hopefully, I think against someone like Middenheim or Bone Nose Tribe, our research is going to be great. I think we're going to be doing very well for ourselves, especially considering how greedy we've already played with Thaumaturgy 3, Evocation 3, etc. So I think we're in a pretty good place as long as nothing drastic happens. I am anticipating we're probably going to start moving just a little bit before we hit Enchantment 5. Next turn, we will have more research. And so we're going to... We'll be Enchantment 3. It will take us 2 turns to hit Enchantment 4. And then after that, it will take us between 2 and 3 turns to hit Conjurate or Enchantment 5, right? Because it'll be 700. So, I think we will be at war, and when I say at war, I mean attacking, by turn 25. It might be a little earlier than that, because like I said, we might start moving a little bit prior to actually having the actual tech, and then just hope that we have the tech online before we actually get in battle. That depends a little bit on what happens between Middenheim and Bone Nose Tribe. We don't want Middenheim to smash the raiders over here, take their land back, full court press into Bone Nose Tribe, and actually start winning. We wouldn't mind most of the Middenheim armies being over here in Bone Nose Tribe territory. So, this is kind of a delicate balance of, we don't want all of Middenheim's shit that he still has to be here, and us have to immediately fight it. And we also don't want him to actually start winning against Bone Nose Tribe and have the income to fight against us. So we're kind of trying to keep an eye on the situation and measure what exactly do we need to do and when. But more than likely, we are going to... Not more than likely. We're definitely going to be at war in the next 5 turns. It might be sooner. And then, of course, the caveat is we might be at war, but not actually in a war a little later, because if along this path of the next 1 to 5 turns, someone ends their nap for us, we're immediately going to disregard our plans to go against Middenheim and focus on whoever that is, right? So we'll see how that works. Anyways, I think that's pretty much going to be it. Thanks for hanging out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Looking Throne of Air. Air Shield on Bretonnia. That is not great. Windmasters on Bretonnia, also not great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.